What's going on, guys? My name is Citizen, and welcome back to a brand new YouTube video. Today, we are taking a look at Developer Letter 2. This was released like not even like an hour or two ago, so it's still relatively fresh. So within this Developer Letter, which has mixed opinions, I will say, if you look at their X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, you'll see the, from range from the top players to casual players, voicing their it's been mixed, right? They're either frustrations or they're singing their praises that this is addressed, right? We'll go over with some of like what they had said and like my take on everything at the end, but I want to get into this video. So not relatively a long one here, guys. It was just an update. If you want to go and read it again for yourself, link will be to their Twitter, and then you guys will have access to that as well. Okay. So Developer Letter 2. Thank you very much for your continued support of Squadra. We hope that you're all enjoying Season 1 so far. In this developer letter, we'd like to share some of the upcoming improvements and plans we are preparing based on your feedback. So they're saying that they are listening to us fans. So upcoming adjustments for heroes and emotes. The emotes one is very interesting, guys. We'll take a look at that in a second. So trial heroes. While it cannot be implemented immediately, we plan to expand the number of available trial heroes to 6. Heroes from Tier 1 will also, heroes from Tier 1 will also be added to the trial lineup for all to enjoy during the week. We hope this allows you to experience and enjoy a wider variety of heroes in battle. Now, this one already I know has on X sparked controversy because a lot of them are like, wow, I can't even use, J3. J3 is locked behind a paywall. So moving forward, their model, at least as we know it, is going to be on release. There is no other way to get the character other than spending what is equivalent to $7 US, 250 gems to get the character. The same goes for the likes of Hit, 17, and I believe, so whatever the other characters are. But you at least can get those characters through the star collection or star level, the battle pass, by doing missions. You cannot do that with J3. You won't be able to do that with Gotenks, and for our understanding, you also won't be able to do that with Tobo. So that has sparked a lot of controversy within the community that I know a lot of fans aren't really happy about. And here's what I will say and my stance on this. There have been a lot of mixed emotions in regards to the quote-unquote paywall that is the characters moving forward, and I've seen it on like the likes of like Garesh's channel, on Nano's channel. Like he just recently put out a video, and a lot of people in the comments, it was rather mixed. I was actually rather shocked, right? A lot of people were trolling, and it's like, oh, it's only $7, like get your money up, kid, blah blah blah. But at the end of the day, $7, can be a lot for people. While that is your opinion to tell them to get your money up, it's also again not your business to inquire why they cannot or cannot, afford to buy a character, right? Like if they find it rough to spend $7 and they don't want to spend $7, that's their opinion. The same way that your opinion is that like it's only $7, right? You got to be able to see and take both sides, right? Again, if you're able to get it, great, good for you. But also, if people want to use the platform to vent and say like, hey, $7 I think is too much, especially when other games give you the character for free in some capacity, like they have the right to express themselves in that category. So I see it from both sides. Not everybody can spend money on this game, even if it is mainly for cosmetics. But if the new characters are going to be locked behind the $7, like I also can understand why they're upset about that too. You know what I mean? It is what it is. So that's all I have to say on that. So let's go to hero balance adjustments. Originally, we planned to make balance changes on a seasonal basis. So this is them confirming they had no intention to touch any character, despite hearing the fan base cry of this character's OP, this character needs a buff, this character needs a nerf. They were not going to address anything until Season 1 ends / Season 2 begins. So that's actually very good to note, and I appreciate that transparency. However, in response to your request, parenthesis, as well as observing the meta, we will be increasing the frequency of balance adjustments within the season. What I'm assuming by this is every month of basically upon the character's release. So this one is in response to Gotenks being released. I think the next mini update, we'll call these mini updates, is going to be on Topo's release, or just right before Topo's release, and then a massive major buffs and nerf scaling is going to happen at the end of season 1 / start of season 2. I also believe that I'm not saying that they're not observing the meta. I do think that it's mainly more in response to the requests. If you're spamming their DMs, if content creators are putting out massive YouTube videos calling out the game, and I'm definitely observing the meta. I believe not so much the meta. I think observing that they're losing a lot of players in regards to the game being unplayable or the characters being overpowered to a degree. They're trying to do damage control, and I think that that's what this is. That they admitted we had no intention, but we do see that we got to do damage control, so we'll start doing them more frequently. So I think that this is a step in the right direction, and I'm glad that they're taking that approach. So it looks like it's only going to be Goku and Boo for now. So again, if you are crying and outraging, which I know a lot of people in the Twitter have been vocalizing, like, you know, J3, Cooler, Hit, all these characters need to be nerfed, you know, to the ground, you know, the game's unplayable, XYZ, or they nerfed the wrong Goku. I saw a lot of that, right? I think that realistically, they both needed to be nerfed, and I think that if they both got nerfed in this patch, no one would be saying anything, right? They would find the next character that needs to be nerfed. Oh, you know, they didn't touch, you know, Hit's a problem. They didn't touch Kale, she's a problem. Like, there's always going to be something, right? I think that no matter what they do, no matter what they touch, it's either going to be the nerf's not good enough, they nerfed the wrong character, they ignored this, they ignored that, whatever. We're going to find something to complain because that's what we do as players, right? It is what it is. We're all competitive at the end of the day. So let's see. Our goal is to ensure that all heroes can shine on the battlefield. Okay. Detailed numbers will be shared later on. So they're just telling us what they're doing. The values have not been released. Super Saiyan Goku. Increase the cooldown for Meteor Hammer. This on Super Start. This just in late game being able to take a majority of the player base health. Take farm if it's Super Start. It was so toxic, you know, and I did not feel good using Goku. In those categories. And mind you, the way that I started with Goku, I was a Kaioken Kamehameha kind of Chad. But I recently was introduced to, like, yo, try Meteor Hammer instead on a Superstar. Watch you cook more. And I did. I flat out did, but, like, did I feel good about it? No, because, again, with the Kaioken, it was a toxic cycle. The cooldown was like a second. And I got it immediately, so like I got to take farm and then use it again in a fight. It was just bad. Which, speaking of, extended the duration of Kaioken, I'm assuming this means the duration that it's active. So I wonder how they're going to compensate. And it looks like they're going to reduce the values of Kaioken's attack and movement speed. Okay, I want to know if this, because one of them, like a lot of people were saying, like, oh my god, they nerfed him to the ground, blah, blah, blah. I think that's a stretch. We'll have to see what these attack values are and if that's going to impact. I think what will be considered of them nerfing to the ground is if, you know, other characters that were not in the discussion of being the top of the top, you know, it was Goku, Kale, and J3 as like the top attackers, right? If Goku drops all the way to Bojack level, that to me is nerfed to the ground, right? Like, let's keep it a spade here. I don't think that this is going to kill the character. I think that the nerfs were needed. I don't think the character is killed like a lot of people are prophesizing that it's to be, right? They see the word, you know, increased cooldown and reduced attack value and movement speed. Oh, he's finally dead. Let's not go too far until we see those values, right? Shorten the additional input duration for Meteor Hammer and Kamehameha. So Kamehameha inadvertently was affected, positive or negative. Shorten the additional input duration. I'm assuming this is in tandem with either Kamehameha or just if I were to cycle between the two, the additional input duration will be more automatic. So I don't think that's a nerf for Kamehameha. Kamehameha was not touched. This was mainly a nerf towards Meteor Hammer, and they're talking about it here. Overall adjustments focused on rebalancing Kamehameha, which had become stronger than intended. It was never supposed to be more powerful than his other abilities, while maintaining Goku's general power level. So this right here, meaning that we still want Goku to be good, we just had to tweak it just a little bit. So like I said, I don't think he's nerfed to the ground. Majin Buu. Okay. increased base HP, so you'll have more survivability, increased damage dealt by Strangle Gum. Okay, I don't play Boo, so I don't know if these are actually, creme de la creme on buffs. Increased range of Healing Ray, and then Majin Buu has been having trouble in general, so he has just received an overall buff. Let me know, guys, if you main Majin Buu or you have playtime with Majin Buu. Let me know if these were the buffs that were in fact needed for him down in the comments below. Let's see. Now onto the emotes. New emotes. To make customizing your favorite heroes even easier, starting with the release of Super Saiyan Gotenks, each new hero will be accompanied by their corresponding emotes on the same day, so they're not going to be separate. That's pretty cool. Okay. I don't know how I feel about that. I think that's, if you're a cosmetics kind of guy, I think that would be really, a beneficial thing, right? In addition, newly added rare and epic emotes will also be featured within capsules in upcoming updates. Okay. As mentioned in the recently released Squadra talk, we initially planned weekly updates, including shop refreshes. However, please note that the update schedule will be adjusted in accordance with when the new hero and emotes release. Okay, so what this means, guys, is how I'm taking it, is that if the weekly reset is on like a Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever day it is, if the character releases on a Friday, the weekly refresh for that week will coincide on that Friday, not on the normal time. So if you are one of those planners or those news outlet channels that is reacting to this kind of thing or is prepping or advertising as such, note that that is not going to be the case for character releases. It is going to be when the character releases that is when the shop will be refreshed. Bugs and stability issues. We sincerely apologize for the errors that occurred. Okay, so they're talking about the error code 0, the 8 out of 8 not starting immediately. They fixed that. They're saying a majority of these issues have been fixed, but there may still be some other issues, guys. If there are, please let me know so we can get the information out for them so that way they understand and know what to fix next. This is just them apologizing. In closing, we are still in the middle of Season 1, but we already have more adjustments and updates planned for the future. We'll share these details in advance as soon as they are confirmed, so please stay tuned for further updates. As always, thank you for your passion and continued support for Squadra. And then this is just them. Thank you for the team. So your voices help us make the game even better. I think that, again, as long as we are doing it in a very constructive way, the feedback will get back to them. So, guys, you cannot just say this game sucks. Provide feedback as to why you think and feel that way, right? So, is it because of the matchmaking? Okay. Oh, you fix matchmaking. It sucks. Why does it suck? What are you experiencing that is causing frustration amongst yourself or the player base? Be as detailed as possible, right? That's what you need to use your voices for. Just saying a general statement of this game is trash, but not providing why, that is not feedback. Feedback is, I think this game lacks this, that, the third, right? I know a lot of people are putting in their input. Like, for example, for me, I saw one comment on their Twitter. I'm not going to pull it up. If you guys want to look, you'll see what I'm talking about. One gentleman actually brought up something that I thought was a very good conversation, and that's that once the Gods of Destructions are done, the Dragon Shell, you could just use like your ultimate and then it's just done. I think they need to revamp that system. I actually agree with that. There have been times where we're able to squad wipe, but because let's use hit, right, is invisible, does his like a cycle of his abilities, and then boom, I just take it and it's free. I think that if you gave it the same kind of health bar, same kind of mechanic that the towers have, it will cause them to not just be able to dive in there and then just full send, right? Snowball, get it done. I think that would force them to be more strategic. Like, hey, it's going to give the enemy team a fighting chance. You now have to fight. If we squad wipe you, guess what? Now we can do this. Because again, even if it's a 4-on-1, 4-on-1 doing chip damage will get that meter out fully in comparison to all 4 people, and then you have a hit backdooring chip, and then it's there. It's like it's going to take a lot longer, right? So it's going to incentivize more end game fights. That's personally how I think that they should do it. But then again, I'm not a developer, so they are either going to touch it or they're not going to. But things like that, I think, are good in a conversation. So you think that the end game is frustrating. Why? Okay, you want the Dragon Shell change? Give me a suggestion, right? Rather than you just saying the Dragon Shell mechanic sucks, right? I think that, and how he alluded to it, like having the enemy team have a fighting chance at the end is going to be beneficial long term for the life cycle of the game. That is good feedback. So things like that, guys. I highly suggest that you check out their X. So when you're going in, you're putting in your own comments, put in something like that that actually is going to be good for feedback. So they are clearly reading it. They're listening to the voice of the people. But again, I think they're going to listen to the ones that are actually being constructive rather than just chatting general statements, guys. But outside of that, guys, that is it for today's video. Let me know down below, are these buffs good for Boo? Are these nerfs good for Goku? Were they warranted? Did they lack, something else? Personally, I think that Kaioken, cooldown-wise should be a lot longer. That's just me. It just says reduce the buff value, but the extended duration of Kaioken was increased. I think that at the same token, there should be a penalty for using Kaioken like any other game that has that Kaioken ability, right? But that's neither here nor there, guys. Let me know down below, yay or nay on this developer letter. I will see you guys in the next video. My name is Citizen. Take care of yourselves. Keep on staying awesome, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.